Augie, you've written a whole piece about how football's coping and how footballers are coping and clubs are coping, which is very original.
Yeah, well, original thinking these days. It's what it's all about. No, it's a lot of football clubs have sent their players away for at least 2 or 3 weeks. So, as anybody working from home realizes that you need a certain mindset. Now, some people will be very diligent and very dedicated to what they're doing. Other people will maybe get out of bed a bit late and not do what they should be doing. So, footballers, like anybody, have face a challenge in terms of how they keep themselves fit. So a lot of clubs have been sending out, daily email bulletins is what they should be doing for training, diet plans, food plans. I mean, so my piece about what players are doing, there's one player that I know of, a Man United player, who is doing his PT sessions via Skype. He's hired his own personal trainer and he's doing lessons via Skype, which I think a lot of people are doing. Looking at Twitter this morning, it seems that day one of this
So,
kind of...
wait, Mark, do you think this is going to help make Phil Jones a better footballer? Because that's who it is, isn't it?
Well, he has to get on Skype first and get Skype working.
Wait, but he's not doing that thing with Joe Wicks? I thought that'd be an obvious one.
Maybe they're all doing Joe Wicks, but yeah, things like that, the Skype lessons. I mean, I'd find it quite difficult. I mean, obviously, I'm not a professional athlete, but I think unless you're outside and doing your thing, it's going to be difficult. But as we know, as we see on Instagram every week, that a lot of certainly Premier League footballers have their own gyms at their own houses, so they've got the
Actually, and then Jules, you jump in after me, but I wanted to make this point because this is something occurred to me. Obviously, a lot of Premier League footballers and wealthier footballers will have their own, either their own full gym at home or a pool or whatever. Don't touch your face, please. But equally, a lot of the lower division guys might not have it. And I'm also thinking about, what about those footballers who maybe were on loan, they're in temporary accommodation or something, they're not actually at home. Like when Jose Mourinho was living in the Lowry, right? In his little one bedroom crappy apartment. How was he supposed to work out?
Before Jules jumps in on this, I think it's an important question because, and Jules can maybe add something to this. There's a lot of players in this country who've maybe been in this country for 6 months. Maybe single guys, early 20s, living in an apartment in a city centre. They don't really know. They don't know the city. They don't know the country. And all of a sudden, they're on their own in an apartment in perhaps a language isn't great. How do they cope in terms of getting their day-to-day supplies? Do they feel isolated? Obviously, some clubs have got the issue of mental health, but obviously Jules has obviously been in London quite a long time. But I guess if you rewind to when you came from France, that first 6 months will be really tough. And if you're in a situation where you can't go out, you can't socialise, how on earth do these guys cope?
Well, they have player liaison officers, right, Jules?
Yes, they have. And in fairness, those officers are really helpful right now. Even if there's, without any contact, they can drop stuff at their house without seeing the player, without even interacting with the player. For example, some of the players in London of Premier League clubs have had, for some who didn't have, home cycling of fitness instrument like a treadmill, or clubs have delivered that, bought them and delivered it to some of the players' houses so they could have something to train on, to stay fit on, and things like this. But for the lower league players, it's a huge issue. Not so much in the Premier League, because everyone has access to a gym pretty much, or have a big garden where they can do some running, do some shooting, do some exercises, and all of that. But if you're a League One player or a League Two player, you might have that sort of luxury and have that luck of being able to do that.
Because the gym that I use is it's full of footballers. But most days I go in, there's maybe 7 or 8 Rochdale players in there, because Rochdale hire the facilities to get their guys training. So you're right, these guys at that level, they don't have facilities. So I've seen 2 guys actually, one wearing a Chesterfield kit running around near me. He's obviously a Chesterfield player, I have no idea who he is, but trying to keep fit by pounding the roads. And I spoke to one player
How do
agent.
you know it's not a random dude who happens to be a Chesterfield fan? He could be a fan of the Spy Rights, inspired by their tremendous run to the FA Cup semi-final yonks ago when I believe they got shafted, right, by the officiating.
It was a crossbar challenge back in the day. I did recognise the guy vaguely. I'm not sure. I'll have to Google the Chesterfield squad if you're interested to see who it was. But one agent I spoke to on this said that although a lot of players will have their own designed plans and will have to be self-isolated, footballers are like most people. They'll get cabin fever, and some will go out. And he said that it won't be long before the first footballer is posting some Instagram video like the Rocky scene in Philadelphia where he's being chased by kids through a city centre because kids are bored, footballers are bored. There'll be a famous footballer soon running through the streets of, I don't know, Manchester or Liverpool with 1,000 kids behind him, just like the Pied Piper. So we're waiting for that moment.
But we saw on Friday, Gabriel Jesus went to his own Tesco, didn't he, to do his shopping on his bike, riding his bike, going to Tesco and getting a bit of food back to the house.
Yeah, but that's not a cool story, Jules. What is a cool story?
I'm just saying to you, that's what they do.
What Augie predicted, because Augie sees the future. So he's talking. Phil Jones, when this is all over, coming out. Where does he live? Alderley Edge or like some kind of posh northern type thing?
I imagine so, yeah.
All right, running out of his house, and he's going to be stomping through the streets, right past Ryan Giggs' house, and little by little, as he winds his way north towards central Manchester, people are going to come out of the different places, and he's going to go and snake his way through Deansgate, make a way back down through Moss Side, all the way to Old Trafford, and run around the stadium. By that point, there's going to be 30,000 people there. It's going to go viral. It's going to be an awesome video. When he gets inside, Paul Pogba will be there. They're going to fist bump, and it's going to be awesome. So this message goes out to Phil Jones' social media manager. Make it happen as soon as it's safe to do so.
But you know what? Once this is all over and players go back to training and to playing, you will also know the one who have been serious. So the one who's done all the program and all the fitness training that the clubs have sent them, everything, they've looked after themselves, they haven't eaten too much chocolate, they were really serious. And you're going to see the ones who were not serious, because the ones who will have like 3, 4, 5 kilos extra when they go back to training, and you can't really blame them in a way because this is a tough time for everyone. But you'll be able to see the one who were serious and the one who were not serious at all.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.